welcome to Spoiling Thrones. This is our Game of Thrones recap show. I'm Tony Walters, this is Dan Murphy, and here's Daniel Sparks. We're going to recap last night's episode of Game of Thrones, Season 7, Episode 1, Dragonstone. All right. So the episode started with Arya killing off all of those people. Who are they? Arya posed as Walder Frey.
Yeah.
Killing off all of his people.
A little revenge.
Yeah. For me, that scene was really surprising because I missed the little recap where she showed him.
Forgot that she'd already killed him.
Yeah, I forgot he was dead. So.
And then he ate a pie made out of his own children.
Does that happen?
Yeah, she fed him a pie.
Yeah, totally forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that whole thing was a great reveal for me, and totally didn't see it coming. Loved it so much.
The first of many, I hope, of stealthy kind of kills like that she has to.
Yes.
She has to do.
She's going through her list.
Yeah. The one thing I will say is the acting of Walder, the actor who plays Walder Frey of the Riverlands. Like I was telling you earlier, it was so beautiful for him to basically play himself as Arya, because as he goes to grab the goblet, you see the hesitation, you see the unsureness,
yeah,
and then
the clues were there.
Bangs up, all the little minute details were all there, and that was just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. I didn't notice that until you said that.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that, obviously, when he addressed the girl, no, not you, and then he had to make up an excuse. Like, obviously, that one was kind of a bit of a clue, but she definitely did act differently. The guy acted differently.
Yeah, for sure. It was, he's such a great actor, and I'm actually going to be, this is a guy that I love to hate on the show. So.
But you got one last go with him.
Right,
Until they took him away. That was cool.
Yeah, he's a really good actor. Yeah, so we're just gonna go with just characters and not go strictly through the episode. But later, Arya comes across a group of Lannister soldiers all singing in the woods.
Yeah.
With Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran.
So
yeah, it was okay. It did take me out of it. It took me out of it seeing him. It was just a bit. I mean, I like the odd cameo, but that took me out of it a little bit, and then it just went on a bit too long for me.
Yeah,
it's kind of a pointless scene.
I didn't know. I mean, when I saw him, I recognized Ed Sheeran, but I'm not a fan, and it didn't take me out of it as much because I.
Do you think it had any meaning at all? Like when she said, "Hey, I'm going to kill the queen," and they all laughed. Do you think that they'll come back later, and they'll remember that, or do you think that's just a?
I think that when the queen ends up dead, they're all going to go. Should we have stopped that?
They just go sing around a campfire and act like nothing happened.
Yeah.
I think that scene was more of a call and response, because you think about it, she had just massacred how many Freys,
right,
and then seeing all these soldiers, from her sworn enemy,
right, and
she's in the Southern Kingdom,
eating their food.
And she finally sees what her actions.
Pushing her limits.
Well, she finally kind of sees a foreshadowing of the repercussions of if she did kill the queen, what would happen to them.
Right.
Right. Yeah, because I mean they were good people. I mean, the whole scene I was like, what's going to happen with these guys?
They were young. But they were young too, so you can think maybe they've not really fallen under the spell yet. They're not real soldiers. They're just Boy Scouts.
Well,
so one day will be soldiers. They're working.
It's that realization that. That's all they are.
Yeah.
They're just mercenaries.
They're actually having a moment where they can finally relax and enjoy a bit of rabbit around the fire.
It's a piece of humanity that she got to see instead of being an angel of death.
Totally.
The entire time. Now she actually sees,
she got to hang out for a bit.
Yeah, her quote-unquote sworn enemy really isn't all that bad, in terms of a whole picture.
Right.
So...
She actually gets to see them as people,
but
and not just
coming from the Stark family, you would hope that she would be that way, really. Yeah, because they're all kind of that way.
But they're sometimes a little too trusting.
But then again, revenge turned her blind.
Right.
Literally turned her blind.
Yeah.
So
literally. All right. So speaking of Cersei, her and Jamie are back at King's Landing, and they are what they're talking about. Basically, Cersei is talking about how or I guess Jamie's just questioning her motives. Like, what is she gonna do now?
Right.
And she's still threatening power, and that she's the leader of the Seven Kingdoms, and
3 at best.
yes, 3 at best, Jamie says. And Jamie, even or she asked Jamie, "Are you afraid of me?" And he says, "Should I? Should I be?" So their dynamic between the two are definitely. He's starting to not trust her.
Well, you could tell that from the last episode. That look in his eyes from the last episode was like,
right.
He's about to start seeing some stuff he didn't see before, kind of thing.
Well, and again, she's also another character that is blinded by revenge.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean,
she is willing to sacrifice her own children.
right.
So
Who she has none of now.
Yeah.
So with nothing to lose, nobody's safe, not even him.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of the thing too.
But she needs him too.
Is that herself? And as you noticed, all of the color palettes in terms of costumes have turned a lot darker, especially for the Targaryen girl, especially for Cersei. It's mainly black.
Right. Even Arya, she's like her robes are like totally black, but she's
Right.
more like being stealthy and stuff now. But just what she's wearing.
But it
definitely
sets a
is just like-
tone.
yeah, it's very much setting a tone.
And it shows, how happy people are to be on the job. Everybody's just in a gloomy place over there because this is how it's being run and just a dark place. So yeah, to show it in the wardrobe.
Well,
that's
yeah, and
crazy.
especially with the scene of the painting of spoiler ahead, the painting
This whole show spoilers, it's fine.
of Westeros on the ground.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And he goes, well, "What's this? Everything I've wanted."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you see his color palette, and it's a mix of the two because I suppose it symbolizes his inner turmoil.
Right. He's very
Yeah.
torn.
The woman he grew up with and loved, and fathered children with. So all the children are kind of dirt to dirt. And then all of those children are gone, so therefore all of his binding to his sister / lover / mother of his children, it's gone. That the world doesn't matter to him anymore.
Right.
So
That's my phone.
That's not
way to
mine.
turn off your phone, Tony. I'll do that.
Thank you. You can just hand it to me. That's fine. This is what happens with live shows.
Let me just turn it off.
Here, just give me it. I'll fix it.
Mute it.
All right, so
What were we saying?
we were talking about wardrobe, but
Right. It's cool though how she's standing over that map, and I feel like she's going to use that to control her army the same way we've got the other table now.
right.
Kind of.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a mirroring going on there
Yeah,
with
a little
that
bit of
scene in
mirroring.
the final scene.
Which we'll get to.
So with Jamie talking about what's her plan and everything, and not ruling the kingdoms, she brings up the Greyjoys and is approached by their Iron Fleet, which looked awesome,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and she's approached by Euron Greyjoy, who has a proposal of marriage for her. I absolutely
After
loved
he
this
slid
guy.
in there like the mask.
I really didn't like him last season. Not that I didn't like him, I just didn't.
He just
his
showed-
character
I mean,
he was kind of
yeah.
flat. His character just
He
didn't
just
have a
got
lot.
off a boat, to be fair.
He did
Well,
just
yeah,
get
I
off
mean,
a
he
boat.
was-
He looked like a
the
homeless
first-
man.
Yeah, really, the first scene, he was such a one-dimensional usurper.
He only had one thing in mind at that point, didn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
Now he can chill a bit because he's got his army and he's good.
Yeah,
Haircut.
yeah.
Ready.
He's just a very charismatic pirate, basically.
Exactly
and
what he is. Yeah.
I loved it. I
Like a
loved all the
Captain Jack
dialogue
Sparrow kind of.
between him and Cersei, and I liked how he even tried to approach her on the throne, and the mountain just like looks down on him, and all the jabs he took at Jamie.
He's just seeing how far he could go. He was pushing his limits, kind of. He was,
Yeah,
like
he
a dog.
says, "I'll bring you the Iron Fleet and 2 good hands."
Two good hands.
I love it.
And something else, apparently.
Yeah. Well, how did you guys feel about his character?
Yeah,
Oh,
he was definitely different from the last time we saw him, but they were in a different place. So yeah, but yeah, he was cool. They need somebody punchy like that because you can almost root for him and you can almost hate him. Like he's a good character to have.
Right.
Well, yeah, and again with his pompousness, well, having very quote unquote pirate like, because he knows they need him.
Right.
I mean, he has 1,000 ships.
Yeah, he can be a little bit cocky about it.
Well, yeah, because what are they going to do?
Right.
They're going to fight him on land? Well, he just takes his ships and leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But none of them know there's dragons out there either, do they?
The word is getting around.
But the
I think
boats
people
won't be
know.
as near as handy then.
Yeah.
You know?
Not so much when we're fighting dragons.
Right.
Yeah, that are breathing
Boats don't
fire
like
near,
dragons.
on water. Yeah, probably not.
They already sank a
But,
bunch of boats with fire.
Yeah, so he proposes to her. She declines, pretty much taking Jamie's advice, saying not to trust him. But he says that he's going to bring her back a gift to persuade her into marrying him. And I'm not really sure what that gift is, but I'm thinking it's more of a person, maybe. Like maybe he's going to try and take on Jon Snow because there was a lot of talks earlier on with Cersei trying to.
What would he know about that she would want?
Yeah. So
what would be the things that he would know?
Right.
That would be useful to her. Like this guy's fresh on the scene.
Yeah.
But what does he know so far?
Well, I guess the biggest rumors probably floating around are the dragons. So I guess maybe you guys' logic it makes a little bit more sense.
You think he knows they're there?
Oh, I think everybody knows that the dragons are there.
And like
that word
said,
has spread like fire.
He sailed the ocean, so he would, he's maybe seen some stuff.
Right. He's more of a cultured.
Gosh,
he's not.
How do you
she's
bring
been in
back
King's
a
Landing
dragon though?
Very careful.
He's very cocky. He seems very like I think that he thinks he can just go and grab one.
Who's the real dragon slayer?
What? Like who's gonna be the real dragon slayer?
You're saying that this guy's going to bring down a dragon?
Oh, I'm thinking that he might try. I don't know that he's actually going to do it.
He's cocky enough to try.
Yeah, he's cocky enough to try. Whether he succeeds or not, I don't know.
I don't think he'll kill him.
My first thing was it could be a dragon.
Yeah, well, I think I'm agreeing with him. You were saying like a dragon's head or something.
Something like from a dragon.
But I think that
he'll bring one alive.
Yeah, like I think that his goal is going to be bringing one alive.
Now that changes everything if he's able to bring a dragon back for her.
Right. To fight alongside, but even if
you would need to be of a relation to that family to really. Maybe they have to kidnap somebody to make that happen. Maybe I don't know.
Well, no, as you saw in the previous season with Tyrion, when he went down into the catacomb to feed the two that hadn't escaped.
I think Tyrion's one of the 3 people that can fly a dragon. So I don't know why.
Because he's tiny?
No, he totally fit. But I just have a feeling about Tyrion's being a bit more involved because I feel like there's a bit more backstory to him with the mother.
I think that the other 2 dragons, not like there's the one that's clearly attached itself to Daenerys, but I think the other 2 dragons are kind of free game.
Which one did attach?
They might be able to be
it
persuaded.
Draco or whatever his name is, right?
Yeah, it'd be the red one.
Yeah, it's the red one.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that escaped.
Yeah, and the one that she rode on top of, and
the other 2 are just out there for the picking.
Yeah, I think that
brought the queen back a dragon, that changes a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I think it definitely changes a lot.
Like the size of her garage, that would get bigger. I'd assume you keep it in the garage. Where else you going to keep it in the living room? You need a big
You might
garage.
want to scoot in just a smidgen. Sorry. When you talk, you're leaning out of frame.
Yeah. It's this window. I'm drawn to it.
All right. Well, let's just hop on over to...
Let's fly on
to
over.
Jon Snow and Sansa Stark, and what's going on with them? Like they are now
sibling rivalry,
planning basically they're both planning 2 different wars. Right. Jon's planning a war against the White Walkers, and Sansa is planning a war against the South, because it's what they both experienced. So they're both trying to plan 2 different wars and leading the same army.
Right. Not cool.
So you have Sansa standing up to Jon. And
do you think that's going to make her split from him at some point and find her own army and get mixed up in her own stuff, or you think
I don't think so because of the show's kind of coming like.
But didn't
kind
she
of
talk a
started
little bit
coming
about
in.
how she only knows bad? Like, what if she turned bad? That would be kind of cool.
I don't think that she's gonna turn bad, but I
Her
think
with
that she's
Baelish,
gonna start to be really
they'd be a
manipulative. Like
nasty
she
couple.
said that Cersei was somebody
Right.
that she even grew to look up to.
Right.
Because
That's what I mean. It was kind of a role model.
yeah, but I think that she can take what she's learned from Cersei and apply it in a good
Apply
way.
it, sure. But teamed up with Baelish, that would be their manipulators.
Right.
Be pretty unstoppable.
I think that she's no longer feels like. I think that she feels like she can manipulate him at this point.
Oh, yeah.
So
She's
Oh,
not.
yeah,
she's
then-
not threatened by him anymore. You can
Yeah.
tell that.
Well, yeah, then she would stand. It would stand.
Well, she
to
said
reason,
that too.
and she could get the Knights of the Vale.
Right.
yeah.
But she
You
even
know.
said, "I think I know what he wants."
Right. Right.
And what would that be? Pray tell.
He wants to warm his hands by the fire.
Oh, okay.
His little fingers.
Clever Tony.
Oh man. So, what do you think about her standing up to Jon though in front of all of
I
from
think.
all of their people,
I think
like
that
questioning his power, like questioning his rule,
I don't
basically.
think she was really questioning it.
she was in her mind. It was more of a heated discussion. Like, are we
Right.
supposed to talk about it together? Kind of like she was taking it like it was a meeting, like a more of a meeting than like listening to him speak.
Right.
He could have been handled a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, she could have talked to him after it,
Right.
but
But I think she felt like she needed.
she needed to say
address
something before he
everybody.
went and did what he did, and he did it anyway. But
I think it's the old.
But she seemed pretty cool about it after. To be fair, when they were up on the balcony, she didn't seem like too angry at him.
no.
Well, I think it's a representation of the old versus the new, where Jon is still upholding Ned's idea of you have to keep Winterfell, you have to keep the wall. Where she's like, no, you don't want to, and which she was right. You don't want to fight a two-front war. I mean, obviously, a lot of countries, Germany, had found that out quite quickly. Is you can't fight a two-front war; you'll just wear yourself out. So I think she, in her own vendetta, would be to go to the south, take Cersei, and then you have all the livestock, you have everything at your disposal. So therefore, you would have room to fall back.
Right.
But then again, you're also talking men of the north, so
They're all
honor-bound.
stubborn.
Well,
Yes.
it's not that they're stubborn; they're honor bound.
Yeah.
They're honor bound to hold, their frozen tundra
Right.
of castles.
Yeah, they're not gonna. They're not gonna be.
It dates
moving
back though. Some of those people knew about what was going on and knew about the
Right.
White
I mean,
Walkers.
the North are the only people who really believe the
It's-
White Walkers even
It's
exist.
legend, but people out there know, so they know that there's certain things they have to do to
Right.
prevent.
Yeah, it's their duty to stand up against
And
this
that's what
army
Snow's
of the
doing.
dead.
That's why his last name's Snow.
His last name's Snow because he's a bastard.
Well,
and he
that's
came from
true
the snow.
too, but it fits with the whole cold thing. He just obsessed with it.
Yeah,
Winter is coming. I can't do that.
winter's here.
Winter's here now. In certain parts of it,
Yeah,
it's cold still. I mean, Cersei's
pretty cold
place,
everywhere.
They still had the
Mainly
nice
up
sun.
north,
It wasn't
yeah.
too cold where Cersei was at. They
Yeah.
had some sun.
yeah, yeah.
For now. What's next?
Yeah. All right. From there, I guess we could jump to Bran and Mira, who are basically had a small little scene of them arriving at the wall. But Bran gets he sees through a vision. He sees the Night King and the army of the dead,
Giants.
and giant zombies.
That was cool.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome and pretty menacing, crazy awesome.
Adds a new
cloud
threat,
coming
new
through.
level.
Actually,
of a
they would
threat.
be zombie giants.
Maybe they can reach
Yeah.
these dragons and just grab the dragons out of the sky. Maybe not. Who knows?
Oh, they're susceptible to dragon fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a little tougher.
Taking a step back here with Jon planning for the war, he also said that they needed to find dragon glass and as much of it that they possibly
Right.
could to make weapons.
Right.
So knowing that, it takes us kind of over to Samwell and his montage of cleaning buckets full of crap, and
it
then
makes me sick just thinking about it.
scooping soup, and the soup looked just like the crap,
God,
and
that was
just
so
over and
funny.
over and over
That was
and
so
over,
funny.
and then stacking some books and putting some books away, and then more crap and more
Yeah.
food and more soup.
That to
It was
me,
awful, and it went on for so long. It went on for just the right amount of time, though, because it went on for, like, to the point of, like, okay, this is a bit much. It's a little too long. And then it went just enough longer for you to go, okay, God, just stop,
Yeah,
please.
it's basically like step aside, Walking Dead. You know, we've got this. When the Easy Street gag, like they kicked it up. That was one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, it was good.
That was my high moment for the whole thing. God, it was good.
Yeah.
The way they edited that between like soup and shit, they both looked the same. It was just awesome.
It was great, and it was awful, and I loved it.
Goes to bed, gets up, and does it all again.
Yes. Yeah, so yeah, his life isn't going as he quite planned. I think showing up to the Citadel, he was thinking he was just going to be handed over access to the
It was
books
so
that he wanted.
glorious, the last one, and you really felt happy for him. And it's like, but none of us stopped to think he's got to start at the bottom and work his way up.
Right.
Like, it's going to be, an apprentice thing. But they did that so well. That was great.
Yeah, and he speaks with the Archmeister Ebros about the White Walkers when they're doing a little autopsy there.
Yeah.
And he explains to him that no matter how many times Doomsayers thought the world was going to end, the Wall held back the forces of evil.
Right.
So
he's one of them few that knows what's really going on.
right,
or
but
has a suspicion.
I think that he knows what's going on,
good
but he also doesn't
confidence, yeah.
care.
Right. It doesn't affect
That's not
him
his
directly.
job to care. So, but I think that line does is it foreshadows to that this time the Wall is not going to stand and the Wall's going to fall.
Right.
It's I think it's what in Harry Potter when they say that we'll always be safe here as long as Dumbledore's around, and then what happens?
Yeah.
He dies. It's like the same line.
Is it?
It's foreshadowing. You're the same line.
They totally stole it.
But so Sam, then kind of getting the not necessarily approval, but just the just understanding that somebody else there at least believes what he's saying. He then takes the initiative to steal the keys.
It's down there in that hidden book room.
Steal the keys to the restricted section of the library and gets a book and finds out where the dragon glass is.
Now, as big as that library is, he found that book
He
pretty
found
quick.
that book real quick. He literally grabbed a book that was reverse in the thing.
Like, well, this one must be
And
read
then he
a lot.
grabs it and then looks at the spine like this and goes, yep, that's the right one.
I'm surprised this secret door didn't open and take him to a book that was under a big light. But yeah, that place is huge. They kept showing how big it was.
Yeah.
There's only got one tiny secret room of 6 books in it, or is it like bigger than that?
I don't know. It looked like there might have been a hallway it turned
Little bit
back,
of a
but
job.
the one he needed was literally, he probably could have reached his hand through
It's
the
just
gate
old
and grabbed
comic
it.
books back there from
Yeah.
once when.
But the dragon glass is at Dragonstone.
Right.
So
Which is where...
and then
Thunk it.
yeah.
right. But then he says he's gonna write John a letter. So this is gonna, this is what's gonna, I think, at least start getting John to, they're gonna have to go there.
That's
to
the
get,
one
to
thing
get the
that
dragon
really
glass.
cracks me up about the show is that they've really found a clever and valid solution to communicating with people across the land, and that's just send out a pigeon.
Raven.
But it's basically a pigeon.
Yeah.
It's like,
smarter.
that's can't work every time, can it?
I mean, no. I think there is
Especially
a season.
with as cold as it's getting.
There's a season during like the war with the other Stark who was leading the war before the Red Wedding. What was his name? This is
Robb.
Yeah,
They were
Robb.
killing all the ravens.
Yeah, with that, that's during. Yeah, they were killing
But
ravens.
how does he know that
intercepting
message is even
messages.
going to make it? It's just funny. It's all right. We'll just send a little message.
Yeah.
But,
Cross your
you're
fingers,
cool with it
hope he
because
gets
that's
it.
how they communicate.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But not when the snow's there. How are they going to do it then?
Ravens will still go up. Yeah.
Smoke signals. Just make little fires.
I don't know how that's gonna work.
They say it's going to get really cold. I don't know if I'd want to fly in it.
Are you a raven?
It might freeze their wings.
Yeah. So.
Was that book that he found about the obsidian? Was it in the restricted section?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even then the guy that was performing the autopsy,
Mm-hmm.
even he said, a lot of those books, it's like half of it's truth, half of it's legend.
Right.
So he's like, even then, get a 50-50 shot.
Unless he was
what's
just
real.
deterring him from, I don't have to worry about that stuff. Half of it's not real anyway. Maybe he was just trying to...
Well, that's why I kind of see him
Push him off the scent.
as like he doesn't care. It's the fact that, you think somebody who's been in a library basically their entire life.
Yeah, he's probably read everything.
Yeah, he has no reference point.
Right.
That and
He's
hear
only
all sorts
seen
of,
seen the world through books.
Yeah, he's
true.
read the stories.
He's never experienced any of it himself.
The rise of the White Walkers and everything else. He's just like, and every time it gets stopped.
Right.
Well, yeah, because that's what the books say.
Right.
That's true. That's a good point.
So I'm gonna derail the flow of this because I was gonna jump right into Daenerys, but I'm gonna end with.
I'm not
going
to talk about Ed Sheeran again, are we?
No, we're gonna talk about the Hound.
The Hound. All right, I like
The
that.
Hound with Beric and Thoros. I had to write these names down.
Wait, we did forget to mention who Sam ran into while he was there.
Oh good call. He ran into what's his name?
The Stony Hand guy.
Captain
Jorah.
Friendzone. Jorah.
Yeah. What did you call him?
Captain Friendzone.
He just got a cool voice.
He does have a really cool voice.
He could narrate the whole thing and I'd be cool with it. Just
Yeah.
listening to that guy. I like that character.
Yeah, but he had a good startling moment there, reaching out, grabbing Sam.
It was just cool to see him. Like, it made sense now that he would go there for a cure.
Yeah.
And he would know about the place, obviously,
Right. But he asks him if Daenerys has made it across the sea yet.
Right, because
Has arrived in Westeros. And Sam's like, I don't know.
he wouldn't know.
He wouldn't know. And it hadn't happened yet, kind of.
I'm just collecting your poop bowl, mate. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know where you're...
Wait, maybe this is the soup.
I'm surprised he didn't go, and who's she dating now? Like,
Yeah. Is she still seeing that fella without... Oh, I'm going to call that guy Hellboy from now on.
Yeah.
Because he has a big stone hand.
He's going to have a big stone.
That is way
something
easier
else
to remember
here.
than... What's his name again?
Jorah.
Jorah?
Yeah,
Gosh, I
but
had
Jorah
such trouble
Mormont.
with the
it's
name.
his left arm, though. It's not the right hand of Doom.
Yeah, it's also going to be his whole body.
It's the left hand of sin. He's not really a sinner, but he did kind of...
Well, he was a slave driver. Like, he literally sold slaves.
He did tick her off for some reason. I forget what.
Yeah, she found out he sold slaves.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been against slaves, isn't she? That's
Yeah.
kind of her whole premise.
Yeah, that's her whole thing.
That's like the main bloodline throughout the whole thing. No
Yeah.
slaves.
All right, back to the Hound. So him and Thoros and Beric come across a familiar house. And this house is from season 4. And it was when the Hound and Arya helped a guy and his daughter, and then the Hound struck him down and stole his gold, and Arya wasn't too happy about it.
I hope that house, the main purpose was to make him think about her.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they have a really strong connection, and that's...
Yeah.
I think
well,
he
I think
buried
it
them
was
for her.
I think he buried them for
As
himself.
an
I think that
apology.
he's
changing for sure.
Yeah, his character arc is like one of the more intricate arcs throughout the show. Even though he started out as kind of like a side character.
That's a big
And then he was even
moment.
off the show for a while.
To
but
see what he had done before and to hear the people talk, I wonder how he died.
Yeah, and then when they explain,
What a dick.
when the guy explains like, oh, they probably were about to starve, so he killed his daughter and then himself.
Right.
When the Hound struck him down, when he knocked him to the ground, he says to Arya, "Oh, her winter's coming, and they're probably gonna starve anyway."
That's how he keeps saying. He tells himself stuff like that.
Right. So he takes it upon himself to bury the bodies, which really showed his...
It's good. A good moment.
Yeah.
Well, that was how I've always seen the Hound, is that he is a reflection of the common day person.
Well, he's a victim from
reflection.
the beginning, really, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a reflection of the world. You know, because he was scorched in fire. He's a beat dog, literally. You know, I mean, he's the common man.
Right.
Or woman. You know, and then... I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
To me,
he stands up for everybody that's ever been cracked on, and it's badass enough he can do something about it for us. He's kind of like that guy that.
Yeah, but even then, he has the power to, but he doesn't.
He doesn't. No, right? He doesn't
it's not
always.
worth the effort.
Yeah.
It's not in his best interest. He doesn't really benefit from it. He doesn't get involved.
Because that's the one thing I really want to do a little research on is my hypothesis is that every single faction is a representation of the 7 gods.
Yeah. Like the 7 gods within Westeros?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably accurate.
Totally. I would say that's definitely true.
Yeah, because he's the one I'm trying to figure out because I have to look at the list, and that sounds like way too much work.
There's some books you can read.
Oh yeah,
there's some books you can read.
There's a Bibles written for each.
I'm sure there's
religion.
YouTube videos that will just explain it for you. I'm sure if you Google that, somebody's already made a video all about it.
Yeah, you can. It's very detailed.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Thank God for YouTube.
Maybe on another show, Tony.
Yeah, so I love the line though when the Hound says that he would be surrounded by a bunch of fire worshippers.
His luck.
Yeah, just his luck. But then he does look into the fire and sees the army of the dead.
Now, do you think that
marching on the
anybody
wall.
could have done that? Or do you think because he's been affected by fire is why you could do that? Or do you think because right now he's vulnerable?
I think it's because he's vulnerable. I think that he's starting to believe. I mean, he's been around this guy. He's known this guy forever and seen him being resurrected. I think that he's vulnerable and he needs something to believe in.
Yeah. That's good.
Because I don't think anybody could have looked into that fire and saw what. Like, they didn't see what he saw,
But they knew he would see it.
Right.
That's cool. Another good moment. Like he's been one of my favorite characters anyway, and this is just now that he's that cool, but he's also a good guy.
Yeah.
He's a bit like the Punisher. Still got a bad mouth about him, but he's doing
he's got a rough
things.
edge for sure.
Yeah.
But he's definitely starting to head down more of a good path.
Yeah.
One could say he has a scarred past.
A scarred past.
Oh, like half his face.
Maybe I'm still obviously. Do you think there'll be a battle between him and his brother at some point now that his brother's back to life?
Oh, the mountain
as the super zombie knight.
It'd be kind of cool. I would like that if that happened.
Wonder how that would go down.
Yeah.
Probably one of them would die.
One has to die for an order. Yeah, for it to be for it to work.
All right, so let's jump into the final scene of the show with Daenerys arriving at Dragonstone. And this is a pretty big moment for the whole show because since season 1, her and her brother just wanted to go home. And she's finally there.
Here. Yeah.
So you get the nice shot of her pulling down the Baratheon flag.
Yeah.
And it's just a really powerful moment. Even Tyrion is quiet.
You notice he didn't say one word.
Right.
In this whole episode.
Yeah.
That's a real easy $1 million.
And
and he basically cosplayed as Tyrion.
Yeah.
Because he's not Tyrion, he can't do the voice. So he just stood there. $1 million. No, but we got to see new parts of the place too. Was the double snake head thing a new thing? I know the throne room was new.
It looked new to me. I don't really remember it, or maybe it was just they redesigned it.
The throne room is definitely a new room we've never seen.
Well, we've seen the throne room before.
In that, I don't believe we have in that place. We've seen the place where the table is.
Yeah, we've seen the place where the table is.
Definitely
I'm pretty sure we've seen the throne room once before too, because they had dragon skulls like lined up along the sides of it, and because they were in there for a long time. Because remember he had his daughter kept there too.
I do remember the room with the dragon skulls. Lined up.
They pulled the skulls out of there when Baratheon moved in.
Oh, maybe so. Yeah, I can remember that now. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I don't. But the double snakehead thing, I don't know if I remember seeing that.
I don't really remember that either.
Nevertheless, she's home.
Yes, she's home, and she's got
Bit
her
of
table.
a fixer-upper.
She's got her risk table, and they're about to play the game.
Do you think she'll have her army help her clean the place up, or would that make them slaves? Just asking. She's got to do it all herself, right?
I think that her army
volunteer.
will do it. without her saying so.
For $5 an hour.
I think that
Then
I
they're
think
employed.
that she has pretty good support behind her at this point. So
They're all just friends.
yeah, they're all just
Friends helping friends.
You want to die for me? Yeah, sure.
I'd want a bit more than that.
Yeah,
I suppose, like you say, you have to have something to live for.
yeah.
Something to believe
Well,
in.
they're living for a better world.
Yeah. They've got the dragons. I mean, it's a good choice.
Yeah, I mean, her chances of winning.
Plus,
are
she's
kinda
pretty
high.
hot.
Yeah, it was a powerful but quiet moment, and it's an important moment leading forward.
What were her final words?
Ah, I didn't write it down.
Something along the lines of, shall
Shall
we
we
begin?
begin?
Shall we start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd
Well,
you
gentlemen.
like that final scene?
Yeah, it was kind of Although,
Not enough skin.
well, not necessarily that. Like the whole use of, if you remember, as they were walking up to the Iron Gate, to basically shimmy up that walkway to the castle. The theme is the Game of Thrones theme, which is played on French horns.
I noticed the thing.
Very, very almost like Basil Posidorius, who did the soundtrack for RoboCop and Conan the Barbarian. They tried to, I suppose, herald in this epic moment, and it just.
I thought the score worked really well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful score. It just, I don't know.
A little lackluster for you.
Yeah, just a bunch of people walking. I could have watched,
And it was a
Lord of the
long.
Rings for
It was
that.
a long walk too, wasn't it? I even
was a
commented,
very
I'm
long
like,
walk.
man, it's a long
Yeah.
way.
Yeah,
Did
all
you
they
fly
had to do
on
was
the
just
dragon?
all they had to do is open
Take
the gates,
turns?
watch them, you see the little walkway, and then boom, they're in the castle.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
And none of them were sweaty.
and by the way, you would think that if a whole army, like a whole kingdom, left a castle to go fight a war and never came back, there wouldn't be any squatters.
I actually
They were
I read a
already
bunch of stuff.
arguing about castles and there not being enough to go around and who gets to keep them. There's
Right.
a big old empty one.
I read some comments today online of people
Maybe
people
they're
saying the
scared
same
of it
thing.
'cause
Like,
it's the
how
dragon
were there
one.
not people in there? Like just
Yeah.
random people.
The legend of the dragon has scared them away. Maybe it's something to do with that.
Or even,
cursed.
hell, even the servants. Even
Yeah.
the servants, like, still keeping the place up. Or
True.
Well, I don't know that they had
Or-
servants because Baratheon moved like his whole plant to there, overtook
There
it,
has
and then
to be-
moved it
there has
moved
to
it
be
all
rogue
again.
people that just live out there, like homeless people. Or...
Oh, for sure. The, squatters, I totally.
They didn't
should've been
even
there.
have any like.
It'd been funny if there were just a
raccoons in
couple of
it.
servants just like
Yeah.
chilling,
Making out in the cow in the corner.
yeah, just like drunk, just finally.
I thought everyone was on vacation
everyone went on holiday.
on holiday.
Oh man, we're sitting here talking forever, and I have left that picture up for far too long.
Oh boy,
Sorry
I
about
will. It's a good looking bunch.
It is.
Better looking than us three.
Yeah.
Which one would you be, Tony? You look more like a Tyrion.
Yeah. You
I
think
don't
so?
know. He's hairier than you.
Yeah. He's also taller than me. We do have one comment from Laura that says, "I feel like the soldiers were so likable that something bad or terrible may happen to them." All the
Ooh.
soldiers with Ed Sheeran.
Ooh, well,
Yeah.
I feel like too.
It's
If
called
they do
war.
come back to those people, they're definitely gonna die.
Yeah, definitely gonna die.
I mean, that's true. I feel like it was a bit of a throwaway scene, but yeah, they're the. It just maybe just shows also how their army is not as strong as people believe it to be. Like maybe it does have weaknesses. Like maybe it's gonna come back. Like I know how we can get in.
Yeah.
There's these kids that sing songs by the campfire. We'll just friend up with them. You know what I mean? It's a weakness in their defense.
Well, they're just young. They haven't actually seen.
So yeah,
war yet.
Laura, I want them to die. I think they'll die because they're weak.
All right. On that note, I think we'll call this episode done. Thanks for joining us this week on Spoiling Thrones. I'm Tony Walters. You can catch me or follow me at Tony Walters _ on Twitter and Instagram, or not, maybe, I don't know. At Rad Entertain, definitely at that one. Check us out on Rad Entertainment and on Rad Movies and on Rad Games. And we'll be back next Monday at 7 o'clock. Anything to plug?
HMMfilms.com.
Yeah.
If I paid the bill, if not, everything's at HMM Films.
Yeah. Nothing for you? He'll be here next week, too.
Come back Monday and
What
see
do
this
I have? Yeah.
hunker man.
Boring. I'm just some random dude you picked off the street.
We just needed an extra guy real bad.
I'm the squatter in the
There
castle.
you go.
All right.
He looks like a wildling. It can work.
We'll catch you guys next week right here on Spoiling Thrones.